On today's Live Daily News, a gunnery sergeant at Goodfellow pleads guilty, SAISD's communication department wins some awards, and the Rodeo Parade is happening rain or shine. Also, Dr. Chris Moran, SAISD Superintendent, stops by the live studio. I'm James Bellini, and this is Live. We'll get to the news in a minute, but first, ground zero for the eclipse that happens on April 8th is in Del Rio, Texas, and that entire city is holding the Solar Eclipse Fest from April 5th through April 8th. It's 3 nights and 9 music performances headlined by William Beckman, Michael Salgado, and John Michael Montgomery. To learn more about the largest eclipse festival in Texas, visit txsolareclipse.com or Google search for Del Rio Eclipse. Del Rio also has a raffle for a brand new Eclipse car. More details at txsolareclipsefest.com. A gunnery sergeant at Goodfellow has taken a plea deal after hunting 2 deer on Goodfellow Air Force Base. 36-year-old Justin Weichel took a plea deal that gave him 2 years deferred adjudication after shooting the deer on Goodfellow Air Force Base, which he said he took from public hunting lands at Twin Buttes. For the entire story, go to sanangelo.live.com. Have you downloaded the all-new San Angelo Live mobile app yet? It's available now on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, so all iPhone and Android users can have the latest stories delivered directly to their phones. That's the all-new San Angelo Live mobile app available now. The San Angelo Independent School District's communication team won 13 awards at the Texas School Public Relations Association Conference. Winning awards is Jack Wilcox, Soon Cha, Molly Johnson-Turk, and Alba Banuelos. The team received 8 Gold Star Awards, 3 Silver Star Awards, 1 Bronze Star Awards, and 1 Best of Award. SAID Superintendent Dr. Chris Moran is actually in studio for an exclusive interview with San Angelo Live's Joe Hyde, so stay tuned for the interview after the news. The Rodeo Parade is set to take place on April 6th at 10 o'clock. The parade will be throughout downtown San Angelo and offers a lineup of attractions, including riding clubs, antique tractors, wagons, marching bands, and floats. The parade opens up the rodeo every year, and the deadline to enter the parade is March 29th. Find more information on San Angelo Live. Into weather, look for a cool, beautiful week this week. Right now, it's 70 degrees outside, and tonight the low drops to 36 and brings a 10% chance of rain. Tomorrow, the high is 68 and sunny, and then Tuesday night, the low drops to 44 and mostly clear. Wednesday will start off in low 70s and sunny, then clouds roll in and bring a 20% chance of showers with them. Well, that 20% will stick throughout Wednesday night, where the low will be 40. When we come back, Ryan Chadwick talks San Angelo State baseball. Then Joe Hyde sits down with Dr. Chris Moran as they talk about the state of SAISD. But first, a word from the Bass Bunch.
2024 means savings galore at Jim Bass Mazda. Why not drive off our lot in a new 2024 Mazda CX-90, priced right at just $41,999? While you're here, be sure to ask about 0.9% APR financing. This SUV offers a third row and is built with you, your passengers, and your journeys in mind. Hurry, these are limited offers, and you can only get these deals at Jim Bass Mazda, the corner of Houston Hart and Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
The number 11 Angelo State Rams baseball team split their Lone Star Conference Series over the weekend against Lubbock Christian here in San Angelo. The Rams won Game 1 on Friday before splitting the doubleheader on Saturday and losing Game 4 on Sunday. Head coach Kevin Brooks gave his thoughts on the Rams series at his press conference at the Janelle Center on Monday. Let's take a look.
There was a lot of good things. I think when we pitched, well, it was really good when we executed pitches. Braxton, it was great to get him back. I thought that was a big key. Just being able to give us 3 innings or so was a big help in the series. Austin Teal was outstanding on Friday night. Then Dax Dothy was really good, obviously on Saturday, and then got Cam back in there. Obviously not close to 100%, but was able to go and do some things to help us. And then just you got to keep the ball in the ballpark, and I understand. I mean, wind's blowing out 30, but we were able to do that in 2 of the games, again, where we executed pitches, and we just didn't, in the other 2. And yesterday was disappointing, just more than anything, because I had a chance to go win the series, which would play out big, and we just didn't show up. And so that's on me. Didn't have us ready to go, and we got to fix that.
The Rams return to action for a rare non-conference matchup ahead of their bye week this weekend. Angelo State hosts Wayland Baptist at Foster Field tomorrow afternoon. First pitch is scheduled for 3 p.m. In other sports news, playoffs for high school soccer is here. The Central Bobcats and Lady Cats head to Pecos tomorrow to play their bi-district matchups, with a doubleheader starting with the Lady Cats at 1 p.m. The Lakeview Chiefs and Maidens also head to the playoffs this week. The Maidens head to Midland for their bi-district championship against El Paso San Elizario today, while the Chiefs head to Midland on Tuesday. Good luck to all 4 of our San Angelo schools as they pursue a state championship. And for more sports around the Concho Valley and beyond, be sure to check in every day at sanangelolive.com/news/sports.
This month only, mix and match cleaning and disinfecting services and save big with Carpetech. For example, get your carpet clean, save 10%. Get your carpet and tile clean, save 15%. Or get your carpet and tile and air ducts clean, save 20%. Call Carpetech today, 325-735-5142.
If your home is in a wreck, call Carpetech, yeah.
Well, hello, welcome back. I'm Joe Hyde, publisher of San Angelo Live. Today we have the big dog in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Chris Moran, brand new superintendent at the San Angelo Independent School District. Dr. Moran, we'll get into where you came from because I don't even know, so we'll find that out. But the big thing that we're worried about here, because we do a lot of sports coverage, is what about the coach situation at Central? Are you invested in seeing a good San Angelo Central Bobcat season? And we'll talk about Lakeview too, sure. but I mean, the Central thing really drives our sports.
Well, extracurriculars are a real hook for kids,
right.
And it's important that all of our extracurricular programs are successful.
Right.
Mark Smith comes with a great resume, good experience, good guy. He's going to teach the kids the game. He's a defensive guy. So I don't think that there's much to be concerned about. I think the future is good for the program. We just need those kids to come together and unite behind the coach.
That was one of the things that we saw last year. Is the defense was kind of lagging a little bit. That's what Ryan Chadwick would always say, because I have to take him to every game, right? I'm his camera guy. And the other thing he said is the senior class has to show leadership.
Yeah.
So.
And the good news is there are returning seniors
right.
Next year that are going to really lead and help. But I think the public and the community are going to be real pleased with Mark Smith.
The reason why I kicked off with that question is because public schools have kind of come under attack. It's statewide. We've had this pro-voucher thing, primarily, I guess, brought forward by Governor Abbott. And what you're seeing in the urban school districts. Like I went to Katy High School, right? I'm an urban school guy. A lot of the parents, maybe a little bit younger than me, are saying public schools no longer share my values. Therefore, I want to be able to take my money and give it to a private school, and I want the state to finance that.
Right.
But here in San Angelo, we don't really have that same issue that you would, I think, in a Houston ISD or a Dallas ISD or even Arlington ISD. Can you kind of explain the differences? You've been with rural ISDs pretty much your whole career?
Well, and I've worked in all areas. I've worked rural, suburban, and urban. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, the whole voucher conversation, I understand where they're coming from. In the urban areas, I understand the argument. The problem fundamentally is that if you take $10,000 and give it to a parent, let's say a single parent that is trying to raise kids and they're working, they're not going to be able to afford the private schools. They're not going to be able to transport, feed, pay for all the extras. Mm-hmm. And frankly, the private schools are the ones that actually have the option and the choice of admitting or not admitting students.
Right. That was one of the things that came forth in the campaign for Drew Darby, that I'm going to say this very rawly, but public schools could become kind of like the ghettoized when all the PTA parents take their high-performing Harvard-bound kids and put them in, a private school somewhere. And so you're left with behavioral problems. You're left with all the cases where it takes more resources to take care of.
Well, and the bottom line is we want our public schools to be successful, whether you're a pro-voucher or not, whether you're a private school parent, a charter school parent, homeschool parent. You want the public schools to be successful because that's the bulk of humanity in Texas, right?
Right.
And those kids, if we don't successfully educate those kids and prepare them for vocation, college, military, we're in trouble as a state. So, I tell parents, because I've got friends whose kids are in the private schools, charter, homeschool.
Right.
I think parents do have the right to choose, and they should. Parents know what's best for their kids, but everyone should support the public schools because that is the foundation on which our state will be built 30 years from now. If we're not educating those kids, when we're old and we need kids to take care of us, we're in trouble.
So we won't have the workforce, we won't have the skill sets and you can see this if you travel the world. You can see where you have low education standards.
Absolutely.
The architecture's terrible, the art's terrible. There's probably more crime. Less accountability of their government, things like that.
Right.
So
I'm all for parent choice, but the way I see it is parents already have a choice. And frankly, my wife and I have 4 children, and those kids have gone through the public schools. We like that because it's real world. We're teaching our kids how to live and interact with people that aren't like you, that are wealthier or poorer, whatever. We want our kids to assimilate and get along with all kinds of people and learn to function in society.
I think what broke the back, so to speak, of and had a lot of people. I mean, you had the whole Republican Party in Texas vote on a referendum, something like 80% saying we want vouchers, right? I think it was a poorly worded referendum item, and it didn't say by the way, it's going to raise your property taxes too. I think it would have been less, but I think what broke the back was all this transgender. The woke stuff during 2020 is what broke the back on that. And what is like a public school? I mean, you have to worry about all sides of all sides of the political spectrum, of the cultural spectrum, things like that. How do you guide yourself through that?
Well, and I'll just tell you, it's an interesting dynamic because, as everyone knows, we accept every kid that comes through the door. It doesn't matter how smart they are, how good looking they are. It doesn't matter. We take every kid, and our mission is to take that kid and grow that kid and support that family and try to prepare that student for real life. I'll give you just kind of a glimpse in my personal foundation or belief system is that I believe God created everyone in his image. And when that kid walks through the door, I can serve that family and love that kid regardless of their belief system. Because there's a lot of we're a microcosm of our society, right? The kids that walk through our door reflect societal values, and some of them are extreme right, extreme left, and many in the middle.
Some of them are Christian, some of them might be a Muslim,
That's
or
right.
atheist,
That's
or
right.
some other religion that's not the Christian worldview.
That's right.
Likewise, we have. I mean, when I first started San Angelo Live, I had this interesting interview with then Sheriff David Jones. And what had happened was we had a domestic dispute that led to a murder-suicide. And so everyone's up in arms. What are we doing? What is the sheriff doing about domestic violence? And the sheriff said, we're a law enforcement organization. There's only so much we can do to change society. But you have a little bit more in your toolbox. So kind of take that and say what the school, how the school can have a universal education in a public school can have a positive effect on our society.
Well, the good news is, as a public school system and with a 4A and a 6A high school, we can offer programs that are really interesting and attractive to students. The fine arts, athletics, UIL academics, the career technical programs that kids really enjoy. Hands-on, experiential, earn a license, follow a program of study from high school to a job. We have the ability to provide.
So you're saying that most of your students are probably not going to Texas A&M?
Well, I don't know what their future holds, but I know the Aggies are crying this morning after last night's basketball loss. But the good news is that we as a public system can say it doesn't matter what you believe, it doesn't matter how smart you are or not, or how maybe you're disabled. We want you to come. We've got programs for virtually every kid, and if kids will plug in, they will be successful. And, it takes everybody. The parents really have to get behind them. And I know we have kids from homes where they don't have a lot of support, but that's where we come in. And that program and that coach or director really can provide a hook to keep that kid in school and help them be successful.
I think the most important thing in education, from my own personal perspective, is to have situations or opportunities where you can exceed or excel in something.
Absolutely.
You've got to be able to find what you excel in and do it.
Yeah.
For me, it was, I'm going to out myself, it was music.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember going to a school, I went to a private school my 9th grade year, and on the back of the Kresge Auditorium, this is Interlochen, it had a quote from President Gerald Ford. And this is where the World Youth Symphony Orchestra played. It said, "Dedicated to the preservation of world peace through the international language of the arts."
There you go.
And it was the music that was bringing people together. I mean, I don't know back then I didn't care. I didn't know what the political or the family background with most people in that orchestra were,
Right.
but we played together,
Right.
and so we kind of swapped the spit,
Yeah.
did the deal. We made the grade.
It's interesting, you see kids in programs like that uniting, and then you hear the politics on the news about how divided our country is. It's the adults, the kids on teams and organizations. They don't care what color or race or religion.
And the sports is so important, I think, because I ran track also, but that gave to finish a 1 mile 1600 meter guy. I hated it. I always got beat by 2 guys from A-Leaf Elsick. Came in 3rd in the district every year. Yeah. But anyway, I think sports accomplishment, and just finishing that race, for me, that was an accomplishment. I hated that Ford. It was always at the end of the track meet, and so everyone else, the guys
everyone else was gone.
Yeah, they do the shock put, and they're done at like noon.
Yeah.
And I'm like dreading the rest of the afternoon. Everyone else is like partying. I'm like, man, this stinks. But that's why we spend so much time here at San Angelo Live, highlighting primarily the sports. We put a lot of effort into the sports coverage, primarily at San Angelo ISD, Lakeview, and Central. So.
Well, and those 2 high schools have really, really good programs. I know that from year to year, some are down, but if you want to get involved as a student, there's an opportunity. And if you can get involved and get hooked in, it's a good experience. And really, everybody should be able to experience a winning season or program.
Right.
I think every
or
kid
just
deserves
finish that 1600.
Yeah, that's right. Just get across the line, right?
Yeah. All right, so let's go back. One of the trends, I talked to Angelo State University, and they say that we are anticipating a gigantic down tilt or downtrend in the amount of available students to come to Angelo State University. Primarily because no one was having kids during the financial crisis, 2008, 2009, maybe even 2010. And as those kids come of age, obviously they're going through your school system now.
Right.
So what is that doing to your enrollment?
And before the show, we talked just briefly about the fact that enrollment is down a little bit, and it's down across the state and the nation, oddly. We see a little dip as well from the COVID experience, where there was a 4% decrease in kindergarten enrollment 3 years ago. And we're seeing that trough come through the system. And
so basically, during COVID, I guess it's about 2 years, I guess? You had basically two school years were impacted by COVID.
At least 2, yeah. You're right.
And so people just weren't enrolling their kids in kindergarten?
A lot of people held their kids back that first year. They weren't sure what to believe, as we all know and reflect back on. But once we got normalized, we saw somewhat of a comeback, but not all those kids came back. And if you couple that with the attack on public schools, with the trend of people having fewer kids, fewer people getting married. It's a combination of things, almost a perfect storm. But we're seeing a little bit of a downturn, and that's why it's so important for us as a district to do some consolidating and become leaner and better stewards with the public resources.
So does that mean your budget will be going down?
Well, I would tell you that with inflation, probably not.
Okay.
Inflation has created some issues for us as well, construction being one of them, but just the overall resources.
What about salaries? You heard about like Frisco ISD and some of these suburban or urban schools that they anticipated the Texas legislature passing the extra money.
They
right?
jumped out there ahead of that.
Yeah, they jumped out ahead of it. Now they're telling people their constituents, "Oh, we don't have any money, so we're going to have to cut."
Yeah, we did not do that as a district,
Okay.
and that was under Dr. Detloff's leadership and the former board. But coming from White House, we took the same conservative approach. We just didn't do that. We always wait
Because it looked like it was a guarantee it was going to pass.
Yeah, politics got in the way of that one.
Right.
Didn't
I
it?
mean, and it was crazy that the Speaker of the House, Dade Phelan, didn't just submit a new bill without vouchers
Right.
after they stripped the vouchers.
Yeah, so we're operating with increased cost of resources and programs and all of that while experiencing a downturn in our enrollment. So we're going to be working very hard over the course of the next few years to get leaner and leaner in our staffing. We desperately want to provide meaningful raises, especially to teachers, but all of our employees. Our teachers are fighting the good fight every day. It's hard work to be a teacher, and I have great respect for our teaching staff, but we really want to work hard to give them a meaningful.
I always want to call him Roger Waters because of Pink Floyd, but it was Bill Rogers,
that's right.
the principal for Central. He's now he's retired.
Bill Waters.
Bill Waters, and he came to the school board about a year and a half ago, and he made a speech, and he talked about the pressures and the challenges that his basically his faculty is having. And he said, we got to do something about this, address it. And I guess it was basically a plea for more money.
Yeah. And so there's other ways, including salaries, but benefits. And our district has done a great job of providing resources to offset health insurance and benefits. More than most, I will say.
When you say you're offsetting health insurance, are you paying for the entire family? Or?
No, but they contribute $450 towards the monthly health insurance, which...
And you cover the rest?
That's what we give, and then the individual employee covers the rest.
I see.
Yeah.
So you have a $450 per diem kind of thing?
That's right. And that's a lot more than most districts are giving. So that's a recruiting tool for us. We can say, hey, here's what we pay, but we also give you this towards health insurance.
All right, so you were talking about consolidating. Obviously, before you got here, they started consolidating down the elementary schools.
Right.
And I thought there was going to be some riots in the streets because a lot of these small elementary schools that we have define neighborhoods.
Right.
And there's kind of like, fan base behind every one of them. And I was thinking, man, this is going to be bad, but it's actually going pretty smooth.
We have communicated with the parents and the staff, and we're going to continue doing that. The reality is those facilities and the small student bodies just don't make it doable.
Right.
The whole economies of scale conversation comes in to play, where you're operating a building that's suited for 400 and 500 kids, and you've got 200 kids in the building.
Yeah.
That's just not efficient.
And so you're consolidating to McGill and Fannin.
That's
is that
right.
correct?
Altaloma and Austin are the two that we're closing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're going to spend a lot of money. I mean, I think I saw some stats on McGill that you're increasing it by 35,000 feet?
Yeah, there's 15 new classrooms going there, a new cafeteria. The truth of the matter is, as a district, we're behind with our facilities. When it comes to just preventative maintenance, we're spending lots of man hours and money to put lipstick on the pig.
Right.
We've got some old buildings that really are in question. And so this is a move to try to upgrade. And this is the first phase of a two-phase process at McGill and at Fannin.
And so this is not requiring a bond.
That's correct.
You're basically financing out of cash flow, is that right?
That's right, out of fund balance. And it's not something that I would say we would do long term, but we were able to do it over the course of the last few years and to finish the job. But future projects with, we used to build a high school for, under $100 million.
Right.
But now that figure's well over $200 million.
You know, let's talk about how much 200 million is. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an example of another thing. The Rodeo Association, I think, needs a new venue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to refurbish that Coliseum we have is about a $50 million project. So I was talking with Justin Jonas and the guys, and I said, don't go for like 50 million. Go ask for a new Coliseum, right? I mean, do the whole thing, and then you can settle for 50 million.
Yeah.
Well, a new Coliseum is $200 million.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing is, buildings that were built in the 50s, 60s, well, we've got 2 elementaries that are 107 years old.
Right, Reagan and
San Jacinto.
Okay.
But let's take Central High School, for instance, built in the 50s, and like a junior college campus. I think there's 27 buildings on 40 acres. That's what I was told. I don't know if that's accurate or not,
Right.
but that sounds
I mean,
about right.
it's spread out.
Spread out. So now we're dealing with safety. And the whole safety conversation changes that.
Are you going to put a chain link fence around it? Maybe call Governor Abbott and get some of that barbed wire, razor wire.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stipulations and requirements for the safety standards that they're asking districts to do, and you know, it's not fully funded. It lands on the shoulders of the taxpayer.
Have you done the napkin work on what a $100 million bond would be to build a new high school?
Well,
$150 million bond.
Yeah. If we've done a little work on if we bring something to the community to say, hey, here are some things we need to do to upgrade our facilities, provide better safety. And in the next few months, we're going to be coming out and sharing that with the board and the public so that people will have an idea. And really what we want to do is start conversations, because at the end of the day, it's not my decision to make. It truly is the community's.
Well, last year they did the bond lost by 2 votes or something. I think
Yeah,
is what it was.
2018.
Yeah, the last time they tried. I was thinking that selling that bond was a difficult task, because you have first of all, you go back into June of last year when we had the property valuations go up. Right. I mean, people were freaking out. I mean, when you can get 300 people to show up at the appraisal district board meeting where they're trying to assemble an appraisal board, I mean, it had nothing to do with their appraisals, but they were mad.
Yeah.
So that's one issue. And this concept, you hear this concept primarily on the Republican side, we need to do away with property taxes. Well, I don't know how we're going to do that and not have income taxes. Maybe the oil and gas will get us through, but I don't know. But nonetheless, property taxes are a huge consideration. And you know, I own this building here, for example, so I have to pay every year. I have to pay a big chunk of
the ISD thanks you for that.
Yes, I mean, it's a chunk. And so I do think about that. Why would I want to buy another building when I have to pay all this money in January, and if you're a day late, it goes up another $1,000, whatever. You know, it's crazy. So I am sensitive to that.
Sure.
But at the same time, I think, and tell me what you think on this, I think if you're going to sell an ISD bond, you need to sell the economic development aspects of it.
Absolutely.
For example, last time when they did the bond in 2018, there was the thing that got the most, I guess, criticism was a multi-use gymnasium kind of building at Central. Yeah. And I mean, you could have tournaments there. You could fill the hotels.
That's right.
I mean, there was a gigantic attraction to having a facility like that, you know, that could be used for all kinds of things.
Yeah, when your school programs shine, it brings folks to the community. You'll increase your enrollment.
Right, but not just the school programs. I mean, the ISD could actually, have leagues during the summer. Lease it out.
Yeah.
You know, so it becomes a moneymaker.
Right.
Well, it probably won't pay enough to pay for a
It
$30
wouldn't
million
pay
building.
for it, but it does attract people into the city,
Right.
and it makes an economic.
And every person that comes to the city is about $400 a night.
They're spending money here, restaurants, hotels.
Yeah. And that's counting, the money's going to be, passed around 6 times and all that kind of stuff. So don't go calculate. Say, well, they only came here and went to McDonald's and stayed at the day's end. I mean, it's more than that. But I think that there's and also all the construction is going to bring jobs.
Yep. Well, great schools build great communities. They are the center and heartbeat of most communities. And I think San Angelo is the same way. It's a large, small town. I'm coming from Tyler, White House specifically, but Tyler was about the same size. It had cities around it, whereas San Angelo really kind of stands on its own. And if you're coming here, you're coming here. You're not passing through, most likely.
Right.
And so, great schools can do a lot to support the city and the county. I'm impressed with the work going on in the city and the county. There's
What are you
good
impressed with
people
the
here.
city?
Well, I'm impressed with the outer loop. I can get around town in 5 to 10 minutes. In Tyler, it would take a long time.
They don't have a loop around Tyler?
They do, but it has stoplights or a tollway.
Are you serious? Oh,
or
wow.
A tollway. So,
they have a tollway in Tyler?
Yeah, around the town. So
You can thank Rick Perry for that.
I'm a cheapskate. I'll take the free road, but it takes longer. You can get around town, and really, there's everything you need here, except maybe a Panera Bread. That'd be nice, but hey, can't have it all, right?
Well, we got 15-7 brews now, so you can.
That's true. That's true.
So in Tyler's kind of like a comparable city.
It
We
is.
have the similar struggles in Tyler, I'm sure, that we have here, and I bet you they had the same property tax problem out there.
Interestingly, San Angelo and Smith County in the Tyler area had a pretty low tax rate, as San Angelo, the school district. I think it's our lowest in 15 years right now. But of course, that's partly because the bond didn't pass. I mean, truthfully,
Right.
But the tax rate for the district's pretty low. And
The bond didn't pass there or here?
no, here in 18, yeah. But we like the conservative, family, traditional West Texas living out here. It's great. My wife and my family and I really like this area. It's nice.
And so are your kids going to go to ASU?
So of our 4 kids, 3 are already out of high school.
Oh, yeah, high school.
But my 4th one is a sophomore at Central, and he's loving it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So if he doesn't go to A&M, send him to ASU.
Probably gonna stick around and go to ASU.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's
a good school.
I mean, the thing I look at education. When I grew up, I grew up in, like I said, West Houston, and everyone went to A&M. A&M was kind of like ASU back then. It was a teaching university. I mean, we had your chemistry prof actually taught you chemistry. It wasn't to wash you out. Well, it's probably to wash you out too, but I mean, they still taught you. And it's kind of the same thing here at Angelo State University. They don't hire researchers.
Right.
They have real teachers that teach class.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the staff. Ronnie Hawkins and the crew over there have shown me around campus and talked to me about the programs. We're glad to be a partner with them.
All right, so the last thing I want to talk to you about is not everyone goes to college.
Right, that's true.
So, one of the things, when I was in school, we had the vocational building back there next to the band hall.
Yeah.
And people went over there and they had small engine mechanics and they learned a wood shop and all.
Right.
What are we doing for vocational right now? Vocational, I guess, for someone who's not going to go to a college.
Right. So it is a lot different than when we were in high school. I graduated in the 80s, and, I don't know why. I guess I just didn't run with those guys, but they were getting a pretty good education, and some of them are making a real good living right now.
Right.
In construction and
Plumbers and electricians.
Oh, yeah. But the programs of study offered through Lakeview High School and Central High School are phenomenal. You could pick just about anything you want as far as a career outside of college, and talk to the counselor, and you can find something, whether it be health sciences.
When you say health science, is that like learning to get your CNA?
Phlebotomy, CNA, farm tech. I mean, they've got a number of different paths that you can take.
You'd be a pharmacy tech?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. Okay. And my third daughter actually went through that program in White House, and that's what she does on the weekends.
Really?
She's a farm tech and makes great money. So, I think any kid that's kind of lost and maybe they don't know, if they've got an interest, whether it be construction, carpentry, metal fabrication, auto body, we offer that. But then you get into some of the other things that, robotics and engineering. We've got those programs.
I think the robotics is interesting because what it does is, I've covered a lot of the contests and stuff. It teaches problem solving skills, which is how I learned how to do programming. I didn't learn how to be a computer programmer by, I think I'm going to be a computer programmer.
Right.
I had a problem I needed to solve.
Yeah.
And I had to do if, then, and else. That's kind of what the robotics is really good, I think, for teaching guys how to be a web developer.
Yeah. And that's, at the end of the day, we can learn science and math and English and those subjects, but if we don't learn the soft skills, how to deal with people,
right?
How to be compassionate, Those are really the things that are most important. And when kids graduate, whether they're in military or career or college, they're going to, if they work hard, they're going to be fine. They'll figure their way out. But it sure helps if you have some of those soft skills and if you have a little direction going in so you can save yourself some wasted time. Like I wasted 2 years of college as an accounting major.
Did you?
I hated it.
You hated accounting?
Hated it.
I hated it too. Thank God for QuickBooks.
So yeah, so I switched to education, but it cost me a year. I went 5 years instead of 4. And kids these days can get a lot of AP classes and dual credit in high school and go in
and
really
save parents a lot of money on that fourth year.
Finish in 3 years and get a master's degree in a year or two, and they should do that. They should really pursue. And we
have Howard and we have ASU.
That's right.
Which offer all those classes.
Yeah.
That's what my kids all did.
Yeah.
And thank goodness. Although my son got a C at Howard because he was goofed off. All right.
It happens.
And he couldn't get into A&M.
Oh.
So we had to send him to Corpus Christi, and he had to get straight A's to overcome that C.
Yeah.
And he made it. He made it. I mean, I was amazed that he made it.
A lot of it's perseverance. You know, I mean, I just in my own career path, it's just sticking with something and not giving up. And
and then saying, "I will get this."
That's right.
You got to say, "I will get this," because there's a lot of. I mean, if it's easy, everyone would be doing it.
That's right.
It wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah.
I said you that vocational thing was the last question. No, I have one more.
Sure.
We had some drama at the Downtown Design and Historic Review Committee about the freshman campus. So what is the deal with the freshman campus? Are you going to tear it down?
Okay, so...
Or are you going to sell it to Shannon?
Well, first of all, it's not my decision to make, and there's been no discussions with the board about that property and what to do with it in the future. I've been on the job about 3 months.
Right.
And honestly, I hate to admit it, but that really hasn't been at the top of my list of things to do. So there is no formal plan. If there's an informal plan, I'm not aware of it. But we were notified that the city was looking at designating that as part of the historic downtown overlay, expanding to the building. Well, since it's our building, we would like to have some input because it becomes a bureaucratic nightmare if something is designated.
If you had to go ask the city for permission to do something with the building.
Right. So really respectfully, we want to respect the city's process. We respect the city and what they're trying to do. The downtown area is a beautiful place, and we like that, and we support that. So it's not that this should be a win-lose situation. We just feel like it's important for all the information to be on the table before any decisions are made.
I see. So you're kind of like clearing the table, so to speak, so you can have the discussion.
That's it. That's it.
I think you need to sell it to me. We'll turn it into a gigantic honky tonk.
Okay. Well,
what do you think?
Clear that with the city and you're good to go.
I'm just kidding. I do not want to own a honky tonk. But anyway, this is the superintendent of San Angelo ISD, Chris Moran. Brand new, 3 months?
3 months, January 1st. Yeah.
Yeah, start here January 1st. Obviously, he's got some of the trendy things that are happening in education, answered some tough questions, but if someone has a problem with the school district, what's the best way to approach it? Go to the board?
Well, the best way to approach is if they have a concern, call my office.
Really?
Yeah, because we can talk about it. Usually, and they're welcome to call and discuss things with the Board of Trustees. The board will coach them to call my office so that we can work through it. Because generally speaking, most time, there's misinformation out there. And if they hear something, if they'll just call, we can clear it up, and usually that solves it. If there's a real problem, we'll work through it.
Right.
We want to do good.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Joe, thanks
we really
a lot.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
And we'll have you back next month, right?
So, hey, whenever you invite, I'll
All
come.
Right. Back to the studio.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the giants and who will never, ever flinch.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations including estate jewelry, Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Conno's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thanks for watching the only locally owned live news show in the Concho Valley. We really appreciate your feedback in the comments section and letters to the editor. Thanks again for making San Angelo Live the #1 news source in the Concho Valley. We look forward to bringing you all the news again throughout 2024, first as always. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.